Watercolor paint made with a water-soluble binder such as gum arabic and thinned with water rather than oil. Traditionally used in a light to dark manner, using the white of the paper to determine the values. Usually transparent and appear luminous because the pigments are laid down in a relatively pure form with new fillers. Landscape art that depicts natural scenery such as mountains, valleys, trees, rivers, and forests, and especially art where the main subject is a wide view. Here are some examples of landscape painting using watercolor. This one is the style called Impressionism, using saturated and immense intense color. Your task for this project, you will be creating a landscape painting that includes the element of art. These are space, specifically focusing on creating depth by using foreground, middle ground, and the background. Later, we'll talk about the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Steps. References. Research and print landscape references images as you look. Think about what type of landscape you want to create. Step 2. Planning. For this project, you more than any before, planning is essential. Use more than one reference image. Create 4 different compositional sketches in the sketchbook. Think about different color options. Step 2. Planning. When planning, consider your use of space, foreground, middle ground, and background. Here, you can see the background is the farthest, the middle ground is in the middle, and the foreground is in front. Step 3. Final drawing. Once we approve your composition and color plan, you may begin to draw very lightly on final watercolor paper with pencil. Dark pencil lines will show through on your watercolor, so use a very light pencil. Now, question. What's this watercolor art? These are made from watercolor. And here are some techniques of using watercolor. You can use it in wet. These are some techniques. Wet and wet creates more softer blending of soft colors. Lifting wet watercolor using sponge or using a brush or dry brush watercolor to lightly soften the paint and the blot. You can even use the plastic wrap, alcohol drop, salt drop. And here is a video on how to paint using watercolor landscape, and you just use only one brush. First step is to make a sketch using light pencils to draw contours and lines of the landscape, and prepare your watercolor set. The technique in applying watercolor is you begin with very light colors, and then medium colors, and then the last application should be darker colors. Take note that the color of the paper can be used as the lightest color in your watercolor painting. Example here, the clouds. You leave the white portion of the paper, and that will be the lightest color. Always remember the rules or the law in painting that lighter colors will tend to recede. It will go backwards, the lighter colors. But the darker colors will tend to go forward. So light colors like this sky blue will give an effect of far horizon, while darker colors such as dark green will give an impression or an illusion that it is the nearer view or the foreground. In painting, there is what we call the background, which is the sky, and the middle ground is the far mountain, and the foreground is the nearer ground to the viewer. Example, this dark green grass pasture here. Alright, keep painting. Thank you so much for viewing, and please subscribe the channel for more informative videos.